think we should be good right now. So, Batman villains that we could see in the sequel. What do we want to see? So, I think after this movie, we are definitely in need of some more villains that are going to sort of bring Batman to a more personal level. I feel like this first movie here was pretty much a movie that set him up to really be that symbol for the city, but we didn't really get to see much of Batman himself really finding more about himself. And I think we got little teases here and there as we saw him uncovering the truth about the Arkhams, Waynes, all of that. But I think the next film should definitely be one where he goes up against the villain that is more personal and so sort of a one-on-one him and the villain. So I think definitely Hush, as Matt Reeves sort of teased in this movie, is one of them. But also Matt Reeves has recently been talking about Mr. Freeze, which I think would be another great villain to introduce into the Batman universe. I think of Batman going up against Mr. Freeze, and if you've seen movies such as Batman Sub-Zero, which is a great animated film, definitely check it out. You know that Mr. Freeze has that depth in order to really bring Bruce into what I think we need to see from him next. I think as an overall villains to choose from, I think it's definitely going to be the Court of Owls. I think the Court of Owls were already sort of set up, as well as we got to hear more about the Arkhams and the founding families of Gotham City. I think that that is something great to introduce, and that we can further establish down the road as we get into more of the villains that will make Bruce Wayne's Batman become ultimately the Batman that we know further down the road. I think that the Arkham show that we're going to be getting pretty soon might establish more of that. I think Hugo Strange would be a great villain for that. I think that's where we'll see the Riddler and the Joker be fleshed out more. But I do believe that in the next film, I don't want to see the Riddler or the Joker. Maybe they can be talked about, brushed upon a bit, maybe a quick cameo of sorts, but I think definitely they should be fleshed out in the Arkham show that is coming HBO. I think the Penguin show is going to do a great job of fleshing out the mob side of things and maybe the more grounded villains for Batman, such as Maroni and all of those. But I think Arkham will set up the other villains, and I would love to see, as I said, a villain that doesn't have anything to do with anything we saw, and it's just like a one-off story, you know? So I think Mr. Freeze is great for that, or Hush. Even though people are saying that the Riddler kind of felt like Hush, I don't think so. I think they could definitely do a lot more with Hush, so I definitely still have fingers crossed that we will get the Hush story we all want. Deathstroke, I think, is another interesting villain that a lot of people are talking about, but I'm not too sure exactly if we could see Deathstroke happen already if we haven't gotten any other of the DC characters established just yet. Because I feel like that's sort of a villain that comes later down the road, as it's sort of a villain that poses more of a risk to a lot of other members, and I don't think Batman's out there out of Gotham already to for them to introduce Deathstroke already. Like I want to see more of the characters in Gotham be established first before we go off to do Deathstroke. So I think, as I said, Hush would be a better villain to have for the sequel, as well as Mr. Freeze as well. And like I said, I want to see Clayface at some point, even though I'm not sure exactly how they would pull that off if they're trying to keep the reality-based type deal going on here, which we're not too sure yet. Although this first movie did feel like they're trying to be grounded, but you know what? We never know. So I do want to see that, and I really want to see a Robin be done live action as well. It's been like years since we've gotten a Robin on the movie screen, and I think it's time to do that. I think Zack Snyder being close to giving us something like that was awesome, but I do want to see him, Matt Reeves, I'm talking, is bring that Bat family here. Now, Batgirl is coming to HBO Max, but we don't know if that's going to be in this universe or not. We don't know exactly what is happening with the universes. I mean, the Flash is already coming out till next year. The Batgirl movie comes out at the end of this year, and this movie, which will be the sequel, probably won't come out till 2024. So there's a lot of room, I think, for Warner Brothers to decide what they want to do, if they want to include the Robert Pattinson Batman in this new DC universe they're creating, or if they're just gonna leave him out of this. So we'll definitely see what happens with that. But as I said, I think Hush is a great villain to want to introduce into the Batman universe, as well as Court of Owls maybe down the road for a third film would be pretty cool to see. But I think for this first sequel that's to come, a villain that's more grounded, such as Mr. Freeze, would be a lot better, and I think Hush as well. Now, like I said, I want to see all of these like crazier characters such as Clayface, Mad Hatter, Dr. Pig, all of these characters be done, but I just don't know if it should be in this next film. I do think they would be better suited in the Arkham show because I think we'll see a lot of them there. I think for sure Hugo Strange is a character that's going to be further developed in the Arkham show, which is awesome because I think Hugo Strange is such a missed character, and I really enjoyed the portrayal that was in Gotham, and I could just imagine with a bigger budget what they will be able to pull off when it comes to Hugo Strange. And I think the Joker as well being in the Arkham show is just going to be amazing. So as I said, I want those characters to be fleshed out in that Arkham show. By the time they get to the Batman movie, they're just going to be amazing. So that's why I think for this sequel, it should be a character that's not really in Arkham and more of a character that's sort of a character that's one off. You know, like this movie can be self contained in itself, sort of like what Nolan did, where he just gave us Batman Begins with Ra's al Ghul. Then we had The Dark Knight with the Joker, and then he brought it all back to the first film with Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows. I think that'd be something cool for this film to do, is to bring back that whole like mystery between the Arkhams and the Waynes as well. And it's sort of something that had been brewing for some time, where the Court of Owls were always there, and then you give Talon in there as well. Even though I feel like that might be a little bit too close to Bane and The Dark Knight Rises as well. Not really, right? So I think that'd be something cool for them to do right there, is to bring the Court of Owls full circle by the end of this Batman series. So we'll see what they do and if they decide to do that or not. But I would definitely love to see some more of the villains that we've never gotten in the Batman live action. Like I said, we've gotten a ton of Jokers, and I think it's time to get something else. Like, I love Barry Keoghan, and I think he's gonna make a great Joker, but I think save him, let him be in the shadows, lurk around, maybe pop up here and there in the movies. I mean, even the deleted scene that was meant for Barry Keoghan in this movie sounded great. I could see more of those scenes being developed until we get a final climax showdown of sorts. Maybe Arkham Asylum vibe, like the video game with the Joker. But there was a deleted scene that had Barry Keoghan sort of playing the Joker and Batman sort of talking like Silence of the Lambs style, where he's pretty much trying to figure out the Riddler, and Joker's giving him some pointers here and there, which I thought would have been interesting to see. Matt Reeves said we will be seeing this scene, so that's exciting to hear, but I still think that it would have been great to see it, and I could see the Joker just being in the Batman universe in this way, so we'll definitely see how it all plays out and if they decide to do this or not. But I think that that is a very good way to have the Joker in this series. Not really a main villain, just sort of like the go-to for Batman. So, to recap, Hush, I think, is a great villain to have, and I think Mr. Freeze is another great villain to have. I think Court of Owls still being under everything would be great to finally pay off, and I think Talon, by the end of it, would be amazing as well. Like I said, the other more crazier characters, maybe cameos here and there, such as Mad Hatter, Clayface, Man-Bat, and all of these other villains would be great to have, but sort of like not as the main focus, you know? So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this below. I try to do this live. Let's see if the quality doesn't drop by the time the video uploads. And I might want to do some more of these in the morning as well. So I'm just testing all of this out. If you tuned into the live, I really appreciate you. We're just talking about which Batman villains we want to see in the sequel. So comment which ones you would love to see. For me, it's Hush and Mr. Freeze that I want to see for sure in this next sequel to the Batman, and all of the other rogues could be in the Arkham TV series that is coming to HBO Max, which was originally going to be a GCPD series, but I think Matt Reeves changed his mind on that. Now it's a whole Arkham show, which is great. So I want to see Hugo Strange in that show for sure. I want to see Joker, I want to see Riddler, everybody in that. And then for the movies, I want to see Hush, Mr. Freeze, and Court of Owls be done right. So very excited to see what the future holds. This movie's on its way to 1 billion. Just watch. But anyways, if you haven't already, make sure that you're following me. Make sure that you turn on the notification bell. And let me know, which villain do you want to see on the Batman sequel? Let me know. Chat, comment, chat, whatever. And that's going to do it for me. I'll see all of you